Highlights of day one of the 2001 Toyota 1000 Desert are proudly brought to you by Toyota. Abundant wildlife, a strong economy and vibrant modern cities like Gaborone make Botswana one of the special countries to visit in Africa. For the past decade, Botswana has played host to the Toyota 1000 Desert Race, the premier event on the MSA Off-Road Championship calendar. This year, over 300 car, motorcycle and quad entries converged on the Botswana capital and prepared to do battle with the extreme conditions this event has to offer. Crews went through the ritual of documentation and scrutineering before getting ready to tackle the 37-kilometer time trial that would determine the starting positions for the 500-kilometer race section the following day. Competition in the production vehicle category was expected to be tough, with works entries from Toyota, Isuzu, Nissan, Mitsubishi and Ford fighting it out for overall and class honors. A hat-trick of wins in the special vehicle category has placed the father and son Chepe Combo in an almost unassailable lead in the 2001 MSA Off-Road Special Vehicle Championship. What are the chances of 4 in a row?
4 in a row would be absolutely lovely, but you know, everybody wishes for these type of things, so we will try hard. But to win the championship, we should maybe not even try so hard, because we're nearly there. So, but you know, it's not in our blood, so we're going to try and get out in front if we can. But it's a long race. It's 2 full days tomorrow, 500 kilometers a day. And we're going to set our certain pace, which we're going to try and keep all the way. So if there are any flyers, they must go, and we'll stay with our pace. And hopefully we'll do well. Hopefully if we can pull it off, it would be fantastic.
Hill Nell has earned the title of Mr. Consistency in his Class B look truckie and survived an armed robbery in which he was shot through the arm and thigh only 2 weeks ago.
The biggest strategy is to finish the race, and this time it's even a bigger challenge after the disaster I had with the shooting incident. So I'm just going to try to go and finish out there. I'm not going to try for first, second or third place. I'll take the points that the other guys don't win.
Franz Chevek Sr. has a 31-point lead over reigning Class B champion Hill Nell in the Special Vehicle Drivers' Championship, while Franz Chevek Jr. has a 43-point lead over Greg Harvey's co-driver, Boy Stone. After 3 consecutive Class D wins the season in the Class D Castrol Toyota Land Cruiser, Botswana resident Shumi van Vieren leads the production vehicle category.
This is my 11th desert race this year. I've finished it 6 times. The best I've done is I've won my class in Class D in 96, and I had a couple of seconds and thirds during the years. So this year we're going to try and win the class, and doing so try and extend our lead in the overall championship.
Consistent performances in the hotly contested Class E for 4-cylinder bakkies sees Kutsia Laviskafni lying 6th in the Production Vehicle Drivers' Championship. Van Vieren has a 7-point lead over Hannes Grobler in the Production Vehicle Drivers' Championship, while Grobler's co-driver Richard Leek tops the log in the Co-Drivers' Championship. The 37-kilometer time trial on the outskirts of Gaborone delivered a surprise winner in relative newcomer to off-road racing, Greg Dowse and co-driver VZ van Zyl, who were closely followed by another father and son team of Gary and Bodo Berthold in the locally designed and built M&E Glass Raceco. Fastest of the production vehicles was former multiple touring car champion Haniel de Villiers and Francois Jordan in the Class T Nissan Hardbody, with teammates and former off-road champions Hannes Grobler and Richard Leek in a similar vehicle matching their time. In 5th place and making a welcome return to off-road racing after a layoff was former single-seater ace and winner of the 1996 Toyota 1000, Marius Bahrain in the Mighty Mag. But he had newcomer to the special vehicle category, Terence Marsh, in the Raceco to deal with. Multiple champions and special vehicle championship leaders, Franz Chevek Sr. and Jr., could only manage 7th fastest in the V Motors Chenoweth, and hot on their wheels was Bevan Berthold in a single-seater Aceco. Reigning special vehicle champion Shamir Bariawa powered his V6 500-plus horsepower Scat engine Cornbake Jimco into 8th place, but had Lichtenberg 400 winner Cliff Barker and Malcolm Joubert in the Barker Performance Products Land Rover breathing down his neck. Barker elected to miss the Nissan Sugar Belt 400 to enable him to prepare the Land Rover for victory in the Toyota 1000. Castrol Toyota stalwarts Avi Renica and Robin Houghton have won 5 production vehicle championships for Toyota and were pinning their hopes on the much improved Class T Land Cruiser. Botswana businessman Atang Makakhaneni and former quad racer Evan Hutchinson make for a formidable combination in the Hellman Logistics Jimco and would start in 12th place. In a turn-up for the books, former special vehicle contenders Mark Corbett and Juan Moore dominated Class D in the Petronas Isuzu. Andrew and Chris Birkin held the Toyota flag up high by posting the fastest time in Class E in the Castrol Toyota Hilux, but there was drama for Javi van Deventer from the N1 4x4 team when he rolled his Class E Toyota Hilux. Mark Ferguson tried to lend a hand, but in the end it was manpower that came to the rescue, and the luckless van Deventer was on his way again. Dawson Van Sale would start first in the morning, followed by the Bertolds and the Nissans of Probler and De Villiers, who both posted the same time in the time trial. Special vehicles filled the next 5 places, with Barker rounding out the top 10. American-built trucks are starting to gain popularity in South African off-road racing, and the most recent addition to the fold is the Ford Ranger of Neil Woolridge. But how well are these rather large specimens suited to local conditions?
Our car for this race, I think, will be ideally suited. It is an American-built Ranger. It's built for desert racing, and judging by the way it went today, it felt very good. It's similar conditions to what we had in Barberspun, where it also went very well. We've been through the car from bumper to bumper, checked everything, made quite a few changes, and it's really going well, and we're hoping for a good race.
The Vacation Vans Jeep has had a checkered history in local off-road racing, but this season has seen consistent finishes and even a race lead in the Sugar Belt 400.
Oh, it's good to be back. She's not a little girl anymore. She's a big lady now. She's one mean truck to drive. I'm looking forward to really getting into terms with her. 1,000 kilometers. I think it's going to be very good. I think the truck's very competitive now, and I think we can give the boys a run for their money.
The Walker Evans-built Jojo Tank Chevrolet of Crookmilder has the potential to finish high up in the placings.
I think they're suitable because they're born and bred in America, in desert conditions like the Baja. We got big wheels, we got wide tires, which is beneficial when we're in sand conditions like we expect in the desert here. And yes, we're hoping to have a good run on the American trucks this year.
More action from the Toyota 1000 after the break. Back to the action from the Toyota 1000. 70% of the Toyota 1000 route had been changed, and competitors would be faced with a formidable test of both man and machine.
The motorcycles on racing section 3 will actually start off in their corrected time. In other words, if a motorcycle is the fastest on racing section 2 the Saturday, he will start off first. If a car is then second fastest, it will be a car, and if a quad is third fastest, it will be a quad. And it goes like that all down the line up until 30 minutes, and then it's a mass start after that. But they still start in their respective times.
A typical pre-dawn off-road start greeted competitors who would be faced with poor visibility because of intense dust and having to drive into the rising sun. Ahead of the record 315 motor vehicle, motorcycle and quad competitors lay 500 kilometers of some of the toughest terrain that Africa has to offer. Time for last-minute farewells, adjustments, a pep talk from a veteran Carolyn to a rookie Douse, and tension in the Variawa camp, and anticipation from the large crowd.
We worked hard to get here. We stopped working on the car at 1 o'clock on Thursday night, so we're relieved to be here and we're happy to be up front. There's a lot of competition behind us, a lot of fast cars, and hopefully we just run the race as we want. It's a long day, it's a long weekend, it's 1,000 kilometers, and hopefully we're at the finish. That's what we want.
On the way here we had a slight accident. The car left the road and we went off and hit a large concrete culvert. but fortunately we were all okay, and we broke the trailer, so we managed to organise a trailer from Joburg. One of our friends brought it down, we reloaded the car and got here just in time to make the time trial. So we seem to have a good one, starting off second this morning. After all that debacle, I think it wasn't bad going. I think we should be up there.
We'll have to try and get past the two buggies, but it's not going to be an easy task because of the dust. But we'll play it off the cuff and see how it goes, and I hope we can get past them in the first 100 kilos, and I think then we'll go and we'll see how it goes with the guys behind us.
The strategy is to kind of take it easy for the first 100 kilometers, let all the dust settle, and from then on go and find out where we are with Schumi. The idea is to build quite a significant lead in the first day.
It is a bit of a delay to start here at 11th, because I would say in the first 100 k's you will lose about 15 minutes to the first car, and then you have to battle to catch that up in the next 900 kilometers. But in this sort of terrain, anything can happen. This first section, especially the first 100 kilometers, is very difficult. It's very narrow, lots of rocks and dongas and rivers to cross, so anything can happen here. So I would say one has to keep your head together for the first 100 k's, and when you're out of the dust you can start racing.
Spectator support for the Toyota 1000 has grown dramatically in recent years, and the event can now proudly claim to be the premier off-road event in Southern Africa. Clerk of the course, Peter Monsieur Wilson, officiated the start, with Dawson van Zyl first to leave, followed by Gary and Bodo Berthold in the M&E Glass Raceco. The Works Nissans of Hannes Robler and Haniel de Villiers were next off the line, followed by Maurice Birain in the Mighty Mag. Dawson van Zyl had a distinct advantage over the rest of the field. They did not have to contend with the dust and poor visibility which the chasing pack was forced to do. The Berthold's Raceco is powered by a Nissan V6 engine, similar to that fitted to the Works Class T Nissan of Hannes Robler and Richard Leek, shown here. The veteran pair won the Mitsubishi Bomberspan 500 earlier this year and were chasing victory in the Toyota 1000. Teammates Haniel de Villiers and Francois Jordan won the recent Nissan Sugarbelt 400 to give Nissan 2 wins in 3 starts this season. Maurice Birain won the 1996 Toyota 1000 in the self-same Mighty Mag, while the Cheviks have won the Toyota 1000 3 times and were hoping to make it 4. They made short work of Birain as they set off after the leading pack. Reigning special vehicle champion Shamir Variawa and co-driver Zahir Badiana were on an early charge in the sweet-sounding Scat V6-powered Cornbake Foods Jimco. But like so many crews, they had difficulty finding the correct route in the dust. Six-times Toyota 1000 winner Api Reinicker and 4-time event winner Robin Houghton have not had too good a year in the Castrol Toyota Land Cruiser. Rookie off-road driver Atang Makakhaneni and rookie navigator Evan Hutchinson have performed consistently all season. Isuzu made its debut in off-road racing this year, with former special vehicle aces Mark Corbett and Juan Moore spearheading the works effort in Class D. Steady development seemed to be paying off, and the victory in Class D could be on the cards. Drama for Reinicker, Houghton and the Castrol Toyota Land Cruiser.
We haven't no gears. When we got to this turn, there was no gears, so must be something between the gears and the transfer box that went wrong.
Through the years, crews have complained about route markers being removed by the locals, and this year was no exception. Chebek, Douse, Robler and Berthold were early victims. Abundant rain in Botswana meant that crews could not cross the river at Metsameshlaba, and the course was rerouted over the main tar road to Molopolole. The Bertholds had grabbed the lead from Douse and van Zyl, but had Robler and Leek breathing down their necks. Only seconds behind them were the Chepeks in the V-Motors Chenoweth and Douse and van Zyl in the Porsche-powered Raceco. De Villiers and Jordan had dropped a place, but were content to play a waiting game. But not so for Shamir Variawa and driver Zahir Badiana, whose mission was to get to the front as soon as possible and stay there. Birain was making the most of a rare appearance on the off-road scene. Mahakaneni and Hutchinson were on their customary charge in the immaculately prepared Hellman Logistics Jimco and were lying in 8th place overall. Class D leaders Corbett and Moore maintained a steady pace in the Petronas Isuzu and were 5 places ahead of Castrol Toyota rivals Shumi van Vieren and Fani Kotze. The long hours of development by Alan MacDonald and his team seemed to be paying off. Local businessmen Rashid and Faisal Noble were 10th in the Abe's Aceco, but had brothers Harrod and Lawrence Duplessis right on their tail in the Porsche-powered Chennawood. Not far behind were Neil Woolridge and Kenny Skolthammer in the American-built Ford Ranger. Shumi van Vieren and Fani Kotze were up next in the Castrol Toyota Land Cruiser, 13th overall and 2nd in Class D. Reigning Special Vehicle Co-Drivers champion Bucks Carolyn and Henny Terstegen had a slow start in the Daco Pajero and were lying in 14th place. Rally driver Paolo Piazza-Musso and Scott Abraham in the Vacation Vans Jeep had moved up 15 places since the start and were hunting down the leaders. On board with Carolyn and Terstegen in the Pajero as they passed the Nissan of Probler and Leek. Then Noble in the Aceco, followed by a near miss with Corbett and a wrong slot. Only to find Chepek, who was also lost, back onto the route. Only to come across Noble, who was also lost. And finally they find the route and slot in behind Probler and Leek in the Nissan and Greg Harvey and Boystone in the Castrol Jimco. The Designated Service Point, or DSP as it is commonly known in off-road racing. 250 kilometers down and 250 to go on Saturday. For the first time in local off-road racing, competitors had a compulsory 15-minute stop before entering the DSP. First to arrive was Woolridge, followed by de Villiers. Chepek was the leading special vehicle, and Van Vieren had moved ahead of the Isuzu on the road.
I wasn't that much in favour of it. I will see after today how it works. It turns a bit of a marathon event into a bit of a sprint event because you get here and you can have a good look over the car and relax and take your time. So I don't know, but let's see how it works, you know. Let's see how it goes.
Corbett and Moore were next to arrive in the Petronas Isuzu.
It was very tight the last 80 Ks, and I think some of the Oaks maybe have wrong slotted a bit to the back here. Of course, we were about 8th on the road and we're 4th now, so I think 4 of the guys are wrong slotted somewhere.
We got lost badly twice this morning. We started off in 7th, we got into the lead after about 100 Ks, just to throw it away, and got badly lost. We rode over a few trees, got a puncture, that put us back another 6 minutes. We caught up again, we're in front now, but I think some of the other guys have lost again, so it's the marking is a bit of a story.
Woolridge and Skolthammer entered the service area and the technicians set about refueling the V8-powered Ford Ranger. A new breather system meant that refueling problems encountered on the Nissan Sugarbelt 400 were now a thing of the past. De Villiers and Jordan were next to arrive in the Nissan Hardbody. Woolridge wasted no time in getting back in the race and the lead.
We battled terrible to find the road when we were leading. And luckily for the other blokes, our marks got them to drive from the right route. But in a couple of places, the local put the markers, the green markers across the road. And then we were at the last. We turned around twice, go and look for places. We must have lost about 5 minutes. But we're here, second though, so it's a quarter way through.
Hannes Robler had experienced an eventful morning.
The markers, they moved the markers, so we got lost a few. We had 2 flat wheels, so lost a bit of time, but the other guys not too far ahead, so it's fine.
Much activity in the pits as Corbett and Probler left together. Corbett didn't back off and gained an advantage over Probler. Cheeky.
Early this morning we had a puncture, dropped back to 20th and trying to drive as hard as we can just to get up back to place. That's about it. Now the fuel seems to be a problem. It's not filling into the tank. So we'll wait and see what happens and put the pace on again.
Mahakaneni and Hutchinson gained a place or 2, but it was Paolo Piazza-Musso who had made up the most places after starting 35th.
Jeep's holding together. and we came from 35th to 10th now. So we hope that this next loop suits us better. It's more open. Maybe we can reel in another couple of positions.
Leading Class E were Kasi Kutsia and Aki Fari.
We're quite surprised to be in the lead in Class E, and yes, it's only 25% we did this morning, so there's another 75% left, so I'm looking forward to do it.
Nielsen Carla Eriksson left the DSP, while Barbasman 500 organizer Yanni Visser attended to the second place Class E Toyota Hilux. Class B leader Hill Nell stopped for a brief check, while in the Ford pit, the third place Class E Ford Ranger of Manfred Schroeder and Jack Peckham was receiving attention. Frick Mulder and Willie Jordan survived the tight first loop, but not their large Chevrolet. Dense Bush caused much panel damage and shattered both wing mirrors, but an ingenious solution was found. More action from the Toyota 1000 after the break. Action from the Toyota 1000. Last year's Toyota 1000 winners, Neil Woolridge and Kenny Skolthammer, had a dust-free run at the head of the field. These visuals clearly illustrate how narrow and tight the route was. Second overall and leading the special vehicle category with the Chefex. Another fine, calculated performance from the father and son team. Camille de Villiers is a newcomer to off-road racing and seemed to be reveling in the conditions. Unfortunately, he would be forced to retire the Nissan soon after this with a broken CV joint. Production Vehicle Championship leader Shumi van Vieren had overtaken Corbett and was fourth on the road. The Castrol Toyota Land Cruiser has been ultra-reliable and able to maintain a rapid pace throughout the season. Bugs Carolyn and Henny Testega were on a charge in the Pajero and had moved up to third overall on corrected time. Early race leader Greg Dowse was having a torrid time. Getting lost and a loose coil wire did not help his cause at all. Mark Corbett and Juan Moore in the Petronas Isuzu were fighting to regain the Class D lead. Also fighting back after two punctures and a broken CV joint were Frobler and Leek in the Nissan Hardbody. Harrod and Lawrence Duplessis were running consistently in the top 10 in the Porsche-powered Chenoweth. Pitt Haasberg and Christo Bosch had moved into second place in Class D on corrected time, but were being chased hard by Hein Frobler and Gerhard Prenslu in the Class D Nissan, who seemed a little out of shape trying to stay ahead of Piazza Musso in the Jeep. Lichtenberg 400 winners Cliff Barker and Malcolm Joubert were fighting their way back into the top 10 after picking up two punctures earlier in the day. Still leading Class E were Kasi Kutsia and Aki Fari in the Castrol Toyota Condor that is developed and built at Toyota's assembly plant in Durban. Mr. Consistency, Hill Nell did not seem any worse for wear and was comfortably ahead in Class B. The Botswana bush had been transformed into a temporary town, and the overnight stop was a welcome sight for crews after a long, tough day at the wheel. First across the line with the Chefex in the V-Motors Chenoweth, followed by Hannes Frobler and Richard Leek in the Nissan, and Bucks Carolyn and Henny Testega in the Pajero. Right behind them were Shamir Bariawa and driver Zahir Badania in the Cornbake Foods Jimco. But where was early race leader Woolridge? Carolyn left the final control in third place on the road, with Bariawa fourth, and right behind them in fifth place Atang Makakhaneni and Evan Hutchinson. Finally, Woolridge and Skolthammer arrived in sixth place on the road. Corbett and Moore had regained the Class D lead, with Van Vieren and Kotzer relegated to third on corrected time. While crews took a well-earned rest, the technicians set to work repairing the vehicles. All seemed fine in the Nissan camp, while in the Mitsubishi pit, the service crew, under the supervision of Frenchman Jean-Louis André, gave the Pajero the once-over. Problems for Steve Weiheld and J.J. Kelly. A high-speed roll damaged the body of their N1 4x4 Pajero extensively, but they would be able to continue the next day.
We'll see. We're going to try in any case to stay ahead. I don't want to eat dust again. But we're going to try and stay ahead tomorrow and see if we can't win and maybe catch a special vehicle that's ahead of us.
Tomorrow will be a lot more open, so we'll stay on the pace and we'll try and find out how far the opposition's behind us. So we're not going to go flat out and try and break the car. We'll try and get it to the finish line.
The top 10 on corrected time. The Chepex lead the special vehicle category in the V-Motors Chenoweth, and Hannes Grobler and Richard Leake lead the production vehicle category in the Nissan Hardbody. Highlights of the final day of the Toyota 1000 will be broadcast on ETV next Saturday at 16:30.